The 1991 season began on a Thursday night against Louisville on ESPN. The Vols returned veteran quarterback Andy Kelly, but all eyes were on junior sensation Carl Pickens, and with good reason.
You know, Carl, I had confidence in Carl pretty much from the first day he stepped on campus. You know, it was obvious that he was going to be a special player.
With Tony Thompson finishing graduate school, Tennessee looked for fresh horses to run the ball. If you're looking for horses, what better place to find them than Louisville, Kentucky? True freshmen Aaron Hayden and James Littleman Stewart both cracked the century mark. But it was Pickens who seized the spotlight.
Pulls it down at the 32, to the 35, breaks outside 40, cuts back 45, at the 50, 45-40, 35-30, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give him 6.
Against Mississippi State, the Volunteers were forced to pull off another fourth-quarter comeback.
Give him 6.
Andy Kelly rallied, again, with a last-minute toss to tight end Mark Adams. The long run of the annual Tennessee-Auburn rivalry drew to a close in 1991. This season, the matchup was between two undefeated teams. Kelly fired 3 touchdown passes. Carl Pickens was on the receiving end of 2 of them.
Makes the catch to 45. All you give him is 6 large ones.
I get the touchdown pass and the yardage, and I should just give them all to Carl because I basically just threw them up.
Give him 6. Lightning strikes twice.
And Tennessee won 30-21. The most memorable game of 1991 was yet to come. The 1990 game with Notre Dame might have been a classic, but the 91 edition was one for the ages.
There's never been a game like that that I've looked at on TV or seen in person, and certainly been involved with as a player or coach.
You know, it was an opportunity where we had to come out of the locker room. We saw those guys standing on the other side, and they were a lot bigger than us. And we just had to put it on the line when it counted.
Touchdown Jesus looked on as the Volunteers fell behind early. Actually, falling behind is putting it mildly. Truth be known, the Vols were in a free fall.
Andy Kelly, a great quarterback, hits the Notre Dame linebacker in the chest, and he runs it 55 yards back to a touchdown. I look up, and 5 minutes going into the game, I said, for crying out loud, this thing could be 85 or 90 to nothing. You may, it's what goes through your mind sometimes. Then I got my mind back on the business.
We finally get a touchdown. Corey Fleming catches one. I think cuts it to 21-7.
Leading 31-7, the Irish were driving for more when the Vols came to life.
Gary kicked the field goal. Next thing I know, I heard a cheer from my fans, and I looked up, and Floyd Miley was on his way to the end zone.
To the 45, to the 40. Floyd Miley can fly. Floyd Miley has the ball at the 50.
The play was just the spark the Volunteers needed.
All the way.
We blocked it and ran it back 81 yards. I was so ecstatic. People say I came in and flat-footed to the table and said, we're back in this game. And I was all helped up because double scores. We were only 14. They were big-time 31, but that looked better than 34-7.
I think that gave us a little bit of momentum going into halftime, something we had to have.
Johnny Majors came back in the locker room, and head coaches and position coaches got together and said, hey, we need to pull this out. It's embarrassing.
And none of the players really panicked. None of the coaches really panicked. We stayed calm. We said, hey, let's stick to our game plan. Let's stop being good to these guys. Let's stop turning it over. And let's claw our way back in. Let's give ourselves a chance to win it at the end. And that's what we did. We came out the second half. We didn't turn it over. We converted some fourth downs when we had to. And we made some big plays.
Andy Kelly regrouped the offense and directed 3 critical drives. Tight end Vaughn Reeves got it started, and Aaron Hayden pulled Tennessee closer.
And White pitch will come to the tailback. This is Hayden at the 5, at the 4, at the 3, at the 2, at the 1.
You know, once we got back in within striking distance, hey, we're going back just like the year before. We're going toe-to-toe with Notre Dame. And, you know, let's just see who wins it, who can make the plays at the end.
The comeback was complete when offensive coordinator Philip Fulmer called the critical play.
He flicks back to throw is Kelly. Kelly throws the ball full down at the 35, down to the 20, down to the 15, down to the 10, down to the 5, down to the 4, down to the 3, down to the 2, down to the end zone. Touchdown, Aaron Hayden with a sensational call.
You know, we talked about it on the sideline. Hey, when we get it back down in that area, don't be surprised when we call the screen. And they reminded me, I knew that was a good call against that, but Coach Foreman reminded me, said, hey, if they blitz, don't check out, that's a go. And I was like, yeah, I know, Coach. Hopefully they will blitz on it. and and it was just a great call at the right time.
In one of the most inspiring turnarounds in NCAA history, Tennessee stormed back from 31-7 to seize the lead, 35-34. But the job wasn't done. The Irish marched down the field to set up a game-winning field goal as the shadows lengthened over this historic field.
Actually, I was on the bench with a towel over my head, and I kind of was peeking out of the. I said, I can't watch this.
This will be Rob Leonard. The kick is up. The kick is good. No, it is no good. It is no.
And all of a sudden, I just saw all the orange stand up, and all the orange shakers start cheering, and I was just like, yes. I didn't even know we blocked it. I just thought, I didn't know if he'd missed it, we'd blocked it or what. I just jumped up and started running and hugging people.
It was Jeremy Lincoln who blocked the attempt, and the miracle at South Bend was complete.
The fans, the fans just stayed out there on the field. They didn't leave. Nobody went to the cars to warm up. They stayed in the stands. And, I guess one by one, we started getting the word. And everybody put their jerseys back on without the shoulder pads, without the helmet, and we all rushed back out there on the field in the corner of the end zone to be with our fans. And I think that's what college football was all about to me that day.
I let the players yell and scream and celebrate, the coaches, for several minutes before I got their attention to talk to them. I didn't want them to quell that great excitement.
I would like to say that this is a game that none of you, in my opinion, will ever forget, as long as you live. I don't think that I've ever been involved with a comeback similar to this in my life, ever. And it was a highly significant opponent that you did it against. That truly, for any football fan or so-called authorities on it, will go down as one of the all-time great football victories in this school's history, and I bet you there's never been a comeback that will compare to it in 101 years of Tennessee football.
Especially with what had happened with those guys the year before, it was a little, I guess, sweet revenge, and just the fact that the way we had won it as a team and nobody panicked and we stuck together, that was a special win.
What a gallant, valiant group of volunteers. Let's keep taking smart pills.
Well, I blew it, but the Tennessee team surely didn't, as they went on undefeated the rest of the year. And after that Notre Dame win, Tennessee began its 90s tradition of a bowl game every year by going to the Fiesta Bowl.
The bowl wins were big, winning the Cotton Bowl and winning the Sugar Bowl. Those were big wins.
Through the years, bowl games have become one of Tennessee's most famous football traditions. The Vols rank second in the NCAA in all-time bowl appearances with 40, and are tied for third in bowl victories with 22. Tennessee has played in 13 different bowl games and is one of the handful of schools to play in the Sugar, Orange, Fiesta, Cotton, and Rose Bowls.
Kelly off play action.
Tennessee's current streak of 11 straight bowl appearances began with the 1990 Cotton Bowl. UT won 7 bowls in that span by chalking up victories in the Cotton, Sugar, Hall of Fame, Gator, Citrus, and Fiesta. Also, the Vols made history by playing in the first ever BCS and Bowl Alliance national championship game.
Now who's number one, baby?